Welcome to Cosmic Roadmap. I'm your host, Melissa Lambor, Reiki Astrogeoguide and author. I support endless wanderers with where they are meant to be in the world. This podcast is for the digital nomad, the avid traveler, and aspiring globetrotter who is seeking their next destination on planet Earth. Join us as we venture around the world through people's stories and how astrogeography has connected them to their planetary energies and purpose. My special guest today is Michelle Costa. Michelle is a spiritual being on the awakening journey that loves to guide and hold space for others. She works full-time as a recruiter, but spends her free time exploring astrology, human design, Reiki, crystals, and oracle cards. So we met through mutual friends, Michelle Badagliaca, and she's Michelle the Mystic on IG, and Naomi Mendez Namaste Ne on Instagram. Michelle was actually my first guest on Cosmic Roadmap, so you can check out her episode 2, where she talks about her cross-country US solo journey. So welcome, Michelle. How has your life been since your Astrogeo session, and what cosmic connections have you discovered, on your travels?
Thank you, Melissa, for having me. Yeah, so I think we spoke probably back like earlier this year in like January, February time. And at the time, I had like some trips planned. And I know we got my chart done and I had asked about some of the places I was planning to go. And it was interesting because I intuitively picked some places that I had key lines and energies there. So I was like really excited about that because it was like I was picking places to go that I should have been going. So that was really great. So yeah, so when we first spoke earlier this year, I was like going through a huge transition in my life. The past couple of years, I've really deepened into my spirituality and my spiritual practice. And, I was ending a long-term relationship and like kind of like going through like a rebirth, I guess you can say. And I think I had just come back from I was down in Key West and I was visiting, somewhere that had a special line there. It was my
Your moon node, I believe.
moon node line. Yes,
Mhm.
moon node
It's all
line.
about your purpose. Yeah, like tapping into your purpose.
Yeah. And like when I was down there, I really like just like connected to like, decisions I wanted to be making in my life. And, I felt like very like activated down there. And Michelle, actually, you mentioned before, Michelle the Mystic, we've been connected for, we connected last year. And she kind of like told me I should start an Instagram page, like a spiritual Instagram page. And I didn't even like, I was thinking about it for a while and I was like, because I had my regular Instagram page, but I wanted to like kind of have something where I could like post about like spirituality and talk about things and have something that like, I could fully be myself on. So when I was down in Key West and I was on my moon node line, the name for my Instagram just kind of like popped in my head, like out of nowhere. And it was like Align with Michelle, which is like such a generic name. Yeah, it just came to me when I was there and it wasn't taken on Instagram. So I took it kind of as a sign.
Right.
So I like created that when I was down there. And I just remember like also just feeling very like at home, which is kind of funny. I don't know if you've ever been to Key West, but it's like definitely like such a touristy vacation spot.
Yeah. A lot of people on their scooters, like you're just riding around. Yeah.
No, which like exactly like, but I remember feeling that like, very definitely like spiritually activated down there. I was having like a lot of like vivid dreams and, in my meditations, I was getting like a lot of messages. I was doing a lot of writing. So when I had come back from the trip, I think me and you connected and I was like, that makes a lot of sense because that's when the name for my Instagram account just like popped in my head. So I thank, being on my moon node line for that because I feel like I wasn't getting that connection where I was living at the time.
And it's interesting because it's moon node MC, which is midheaven, and that one's all really related to like your future and your career. So it's almost like you're stepping into the spiritual realm for your future. Yeah.
And what's interesting is my midheaven in astrology is Pisces. So I have a very like watery,
Neptune,
spiritual Neptune, midheaven sign. So yeah, very cool. And yeah, when I had, spoken to you, I had already had trips planned I was going to Fort Lauderdale for a month just to kind of like get away. And like I said, I was going through, a breakup and, get away and kind of, just rejuvenate myself. And then I was planning to go to Sedona after a couple of weeks after I got back. I was planning to go to Sedona. And yeah, I didn't realize this at the time, but where I was staying in Florida and Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, I had my Jupiter line there. So it was like a huge shift for me, like coming out of this transition and going to a place with your Jupiter line, which is like a very like fun energy to be in.
All about abundance and like ease.
Yeah.
What were you feeling when you were down there? Like what was
So
happening and manifesting?
yeah, I just feel like I was like connecting with so many people, like just everything, like, made a lot of friends down there. And I also like, I was working when I was down there. I work full time as a recruiter. So I was working remotely down there. And even just like work wise, like things were just like clicking. Like I wasn't trying that hard and things were happening really easily. Just things were just working out in my favor. And like, even just like little things, like everything was just like, I felt like divine timing's like truly on your side when you're in your Jupiter line, and just like everything's just making sense. And also it's just like that good mood energy, like that luck energy, that good mood energy, like everything's just like such a good vibe. And like I've read that it's good to vacation there, but I like that I got to spend a month in my Jupiter line because I feel like I really fully like harness the energy of it, if that makes
Right.
sense.
And you were able to bring it back to where you are now, right? In the New Jersey area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, very cool. So yeah, that was a great, like, so when I was down there, I had something like really bad happen to my car. Like my, which doesn't sound like a Jupiter line thing, but the story gets good. So
Mhm.
I like right before I was like down there with my friends and we were supposed to drive back, it was like towards the end of our trip. I was like, let me just go get my car checked because it was a long drive back to New Jersey. I was like, I want to just make sure everything's good. So go to get my car checked, found out there was an oil leak in my car, and then found out like I need an entire new engine in my car. But but I do have to say, so this is what happened. So we had an issue because we had both of our dogs down there, and then we had our Airbnb, we had to leave, like, because they had another guest coming to stay. So we literally had two dogs, no car, and nowhere to stay.
Right.
Like we literally felt like we were like, what do
Homeless.
we what do we even do? My car had to stay down there to get fixed. We had to wait for a rental for a couple days, had to drive the rental back. So we basically had a couple days and nowhere to stay. We ended up making friends with like our neighbors when we were down there, and they happened to like have like one of their neighbors happened to have a rental property that no one was using, and we like got to stay there for free for like a couple days.
That's
Like such
amazing.
a yeah. And it's amazing because like that situation just like landed on our lap. And then like also like safety wise, like why did I want to go get my car checked? Like that was like the universe like protecting me. Like I wasn't meant to leave on that day I was supposed to leave. And I just like literally looked at it as a protection because like my car was in really bad shape and I had no way of knowing because it was a pretty new car.
Right.
So it's just something that like a fluke thing that happened. So I just felt like something happened where I was like, I need to go get my car checked. It was just a weird urge. I like drove it to go get it checked. It was just like I just like felt like I needed to do it. So
Yeah.
um
And just
yeah,
being on that Jupiter line just kind of like opened the world to you where it's like you're fine. You're complete.
yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I thought that was like really like a good way to end like the trip of being there for sure.
I love it. And what other energies did you encounter? You've been to you went to Arizona, right? You were in Sedona
Yes.
recently.
Yes. So I went to Sedona for like a week. I went there and I have a moon line there and I also have a Pluto line pretty close to Sedona area. I think my moon line runs right through Sedona and
Yeah.
then my Pluto line's like close by.
It's kind of like diagonal. And that one is DC, which is descendant, and it's related to relationships. So I know that
Hmm.
you mentioned something about like healing, especially with
Yes.
this relationship that you just got out of, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I felt like, I definitely was like healed going into the trip, but it was almost like that extra
Mm-hmm.
layer of things. Like whether it was like a lot of, I remember I was having a lot of like subconscious dreams there and I felt like very like this like kind of mother womb energy there, if that makes sense. Like I felt very like held when I was there. I mean, Sedona is just a special place in general. So I feel like anyone
Yeah.
has those feelings, but I felt very just like, I felt a lot of like signs there. Like I felt very like connected to the angelic realm there. Like I kept
Mm-hmm.
seeing so many angel signs when I was there. I remember I like walked into this crystal shop, and you know, who doesn't love crystals? I was like not gonna I was not gonna buy a crystal there because I was like, they're so expensive here. I'm not gonna buy because you
Right.
know, if you love crystals, you have to get it from a place that's like, you know, you're not gonna overspend because then you're just spending your life savings on crystals.
Exactly.
You got to be mindful of it. So I go inside this crystal shop and I like see this crystal and I was like, I have to get it. And of course it was like an angel, like phantom quartz crystal. So I end up like getting that, and it was just like so special. I brought it back with me, and I feel like it has that energy of like Sedona in it.
Mm.
And I remember I ended up going when I was there, you know, I did a lot of like hiking and like outdoorsy stuff, and, you know, just like spending a lot of time like in nature and like, you know, in the mountains and in the sunshine. And I remember I went to this psychic fair when I was down there, and I saw this woman who was doing like angel card readings. And I was like, I don't like to get like psychic card readings a lot, but I was like, oh, I'll do an angel card reading. This woman looks sweet, whatever. And I
Yeah.
felt like I felt these angel connections when I was there. It was hard to describe. I just saw so many like angel signs, like angel numbers, felt like that energy there a lot. So I saw this woman doing like these angel card readings, and like she did a reading on me. And yeah, it was just a lot of like, you know, my angels just telling me like you know, just went through a lot of healing, and I'm really like protected and safe, and, you know, not to like stress about the future as much, you know, and like that's a lot of things that like, you know, we go through as human, right? We like always have that anxious attachment to like what's next, or like what is my life looking like after this transition? Like, you know, am I protected? Is it good from here, right? Because we
Right.
worry like when we've gone through things in the past, is like that going to repeat itself or not? So yeah, it just kind of gave me that reassurance being there, like that I'm not alone, and I'm held and safe and protected. And yeah, it was really beautiful and like healing being there for sure.
That's wonderful. And did you feel any other energies like especially the portal energies that you have there in
Oh yeah.
Sedona? Yeah. What
Yeah.
did you
Yeah.
feel?
I mean, I just felt like you feel like these, like when you were there, like you just be like, I feel like you just be like walking, and all of a sudden you just get these like
The
overcoming like waves
vortex.
of emotion. Yes,
Right.
yeah. It's like this energy is very, very powerful. And just like everywhere you go there, like you just like look, and there's just like the most, you turn your head, you're like at the grocery store and you see like the most beautiful scenic view ever. And you're like, is this place even real? It like looks fake. So yeah, like I just felt like, so I felt super connected there, like a lot of like releasing, and just like a lot of like felt very like free there as well too, in a good way. And like, you know, we went to like all the different like portal hikes and stuff like that, the birthing cave, and, you know, the Banyan Canyon, and all the vortex spots. So yeah, it was definitely felt a lot of that energy there as well too.
Okay, amazing. And it makes sense because you have your moon energy there, and it's MC, which is mid heaven once again, like for that future, right? Like feeling grounded in the future. And
Yeah.
that's essentially what you were seeking, right? Like, am I going to be okay? Is everything, and just being held. So makes complete sense. So now that you're like diving into spirituality, like where did you find that transition, or like when did you start exploring? Because it seems like it was in New Jersey, you have your Neptune line there, and you were also living in New York, and that's kind of like where it
Mhm.
deepened, right?
Yeah, so well, I lived in New Jersey most of my life, except when I was away in college, I was in New York for a while, and then I came back to New Jersey. And then right around like, you know, COVID time, like after like 2020 and like around 2020, I was in a relationship, and, you know, we were living kind of further away, and I was living in New Jersey, and I ended up moving because like my job changed and I work from home and stuff like that. And I ended up moving out in like Rockaway Beach. So like it's pretty much like Long Island, Queens area. So it's like way, you know, more out east from New York City. So, and yeah, I had found out there I had a Neptune line, which makes perfect sense because I mean, I guess like my spiritual awakening, like one of my first awakenings, I would say probably happened in like 2016, 2017. And then it kind of like, you know, came back to me like around 2020, you know, spending a lot more time at home and by yourself, with not as many
Exactly.
distractions going on in the world, right? So
Right.
everyone's just realizing all this stuff
Yeah,
when they're like having more time.
the collective introspection.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And yeah, and at the time I had moved out to Rockaway, which like I had a Neptune line there, and like lived there until like early this year. So I mean, like there, I just spent a lot of time like, and I'd always like been into spirituality. It's always been a big part of my life, but I guess like my practice got deep in there where I would spend like, do daily meditations and, spending a lot of time in that like reflecting and sitting with myself, like really just like deepening my spiritual practice. And I felt like it was that energy there. Like I felt like I always wanted to be home and always like at my altar, like always just journaling. Like I just felt like that very, and I feel like I had to live there at that time to go through that transformation, and I was living in Jersey City prior to that. And it was just different there. Like, everything was closed. I just wanted
Right.
to like have more space and be by like, more nature and stuff. I didn't really want to be like, because we didn't know like how long everything would be like shut down for and stuff like that. So it just made sense at the time. And it also, ended up being a lot for me and my spiritual growth and development being on that Neptune line. It also made sense too. I was like more of like a hermit homebody when I was living there. And I'm
Yeah.
not like as a person, like when I was on my Jupiter line, like I never wanted to be home. But yeah, the energy there was definitely very different for me.
Yeah, because the Neptune energy is about, going inward, like almost feeling if you want to go to this ashram or a monastery, like just
Hmm.
just going within. So it makes complete sense. And that's pretty much where like your relationship kind of dissipated, right? Like you started
Yeah.
seeing that you wanted to explore and travel and connect to all these energies in the US. So where do you see yourself like going now? Do you see yourself going to Florida? I know we talked about Peru. That's another spiritual place that you were considering.
Yeah, I definitely want to do a retreat in Peru. That's definitely on the list. I actually was supposed to go there April 2020, but my trip got canceled, of course. That's definitely on my place I want to visit, and I have some energies there as well. I think I have,
You had sun
uh,
energy, Pluto,
yeah.
and Venus. So the sun energy
Hmm.
being like illumination and being seen and recognized, the Pluto rebirth and transformation, and then Venus, which is all about love and community. So it's
Yeah.
and those energies were in more like the Cusco, like Sacred Valley area, kind of
Yes.
like eastward. So yeah, that'll be quite a trip for you.
Yeah. So definitely going to get there eventually. And yeah, I love Florida. I mean, I have so many like energies in Florida. I go there like every year. So it'll definitely be great to just like spend time there again and like definitely go back to my Jupiter line and get some of that luck energy back. I'm living in New Jersey again now. So
Mhm.
I don't have any lines where I live now, I don't think. Or
I think
not
it
like
was
my
it
Neptune
was
line.
kind yeah, it was kind of neutral except for the
Neutral.
yeah, for that spirituality
Yeah.
Neptune line.
Yeah. But New Jersey's home. I was born and
Mhm.
raised here. So I came back here and yeah, definitely like Florida will always have a special place in my heart. And I'll continue to go back there. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to planning a trip to Peru soon.
Yeah. So how do you harness the energies? Like you mentioned, you brought back a crystal. Like what are some other interesting ways that you incorporate energies from a distance?
Yeah. So, well, also in Sedona, I brought back, we were on a hike and there was this guy walking around giving out these like heart rocks. So I brought back one of the heart rocks. I feel like that was such like a symbolic thing to Sedona because like I felt that like mother womb energy, but also felt that heart energy. Like you were literally in like the earth's heart while you were there. So I like literally have that like out in my living room and it's just like always like a good reminder. I remember I brought back like a candle from like Key West that I always like light it and like think about when I was there too because it's like just it literally is like was like a coconut like lime lime candle that was like made in Key West, but I just feel like little stuff like that just reminds me of like being there. And yeah, I mean like in terms of like connecting with other energies, like I love the beach and stuff and like I go to the beach
Mhm.
down here, so it always reminds me of like living when I was staying down in Florida for a long time. And
Yeah, I was speaking to somebody about, even like bringing back sand from a particular place. So you
oh,
kind
that's a
of,
good idea.
yeah,
Yeah.
like having like one of those little like bottles filled with sand from different places or like the earth, right, from Sedona. That's probably like an interesting, thing that you can add to your
Yeah,
altar.
that's such a good
Um,
idea.
do you bring back jewelry or like any textiles? Like, is that a thing that you do?
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, I definitely go shopping everywhere I go. I love to bring back clothes and jewelry. Yeah, I also got a ring from Sedona. I think it was aquamarine crystal ring, so that I brought back as well too. Yeah, I love bringing back stuff like that from different places.
Yeah, that's my favorite way because I'm wearing batik right now from Malaysia, and I have a
Hmm.
ring. It's Tanzanite, so it's like it only comes from Tanzania. So yeah, so it's always amazing to bring back those energies through stuff that you can wear. Like wearable art is my favorite. And are there any like movies or any like documentaries that you tune into to connect to energies like from a distance or around the world?
So this is going back to like an object thing. So in 2017, I think it was, yeah, 2017, I had gone to Thailand and I actually ended up getting a tattoo there. So I feel like I always have
Oh
like that
wow.
energy because that was an amazing trip. And I'm pretty sure, I know you don't have it in front of me. I'm pretty sure I think I had a Mars line there. Like that was probably like one of my like favorite trips to date I ever went on. Like I was there for 2 weeks and I like went all over Thailand and I ended up getting like a bamboo stick tattoo on my neck from in Pai, which is like that mountain town that's like outside of Chiang Mai. And I feel like I always, because of like that tattoo I have on my neck, I feel like I always have like the energy of Thailand like with me because of that.
That's amazing. Yeah, you have moon energy there, also your sun line. So it's all about feeling, at home and
Oh
also being
yeah.
being seen and recognized. So it's like you're
Yes.
always tapping into that energy. That's yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved it there.
Yeah. And you happen to have your moon node as well, like right on the border of
Really?
Myanmar and Thailand, which
Wow.
is very
Wow.
very similar to the line that you tapped into in the Keys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that moon,
Yeah.
that purpose energy. So that
I
must
love
have
that.
been like a spiritual experience for you as well. Yeah, when did you go to Thailand?
It was in 2017. So I went for like
Okay.
2 weeks. It was like November 2017. Yeah. And I met like a lot of people there and I like still keep in touch with them. And it was such a great trip. Yeah. I definitely brought back a lot of stuff from there, like a lot of clothes and as much stuff as I could because obviously we travel that far. It's like
Yes.
limited packing.
Exactly. And was it just limited to Thailand, or did you venture out to any of the other
No,
countries?
I stopped in Hong Kong, but I didn't stay there
Okay.
too long. But yeah, no, I mainly just did. I mean, you could spend so much time in Thailand. I feel like there's so much to do there. But yeah, it was like 2 weeks, pretty much Thailand.
You spent it all around like Bangkok and Chiang Mai.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. When I did the overnight train and and all of that.
That's amazing. I've never done the train. I think I've only done the overnight buses. So
Yeah, the train
how
was nice.
yeah,
There was a
okay.
bed.
All
Yeah, it
right.
was really nice.
I need to check that out. Yeah.
Yeah,
What other interesting places have you been to that we didn't, really cover in our
yeah.
session?
Yeah, well, I think like we talked to about Hawaii because I like
Mm,
went there in 2019 and I loved it there. I mean, like I'm obviously such like an ocean beach person. Yeah, I went to Kauai and Oahu
yep.
as well there too.
You have
Um,
Jupiter energy there. Jupiter,
and
Saturn, and also Chiron. So a lot of healing, discipline, but then at the
yeah,
same time, a lot of luck from Jupiter.
yeah, that was a great trip and it was beautiful. I loved being there. I don't know if we looked at this in college. I studied abroad in Barcelona. I think we
Oh,
looked at
okay.
that too. I had some energy there as well, but yeah, so I studied abroad there and then like traveled to like Switzerland and Amsterdam. So I love Europe. I love being there too.
And what did you feel in Barcelona and when you were out in Spain? I'm
I mean,
about to venture out to Spain in July. So
oh yeah. I mean, honestly, I was pretty young, so I was like
yeah,
partying a lot.
like I don't remember
What
anything,
literally
half
like
of the stuff.
what I was like 20 years old, so I was
Right.
like, but no, it was definitely like very it was interesting because like I like was living in like a very like residential section there. Like no one spoke English. It was like I was like living there. It felt like I siested every day. So it definitely was like an experience there because I felt like I definitely like lived there. But yeah, I loved Barcelona. It had its pain points because there is like Spain's very like, there was a lot of like protesting when I was there and there's like a
Right.
lot of, some poverty and a lot of homeless people and stuff like that. But other than that, it was like I love the culture. Like I like the food a lot too there. And I just love like the lifestyle there of like everything being late night and the siesta. I mean, I loved it back then. Maybe now I'm way more of an now I'm way more of an early riser, but back then
Yeah.
I liked it for
You're
sure.
like, yeah, I'm waking up at, 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
You do have your moon energy there, which was disharmonious. So you probably felt like a bit ungrounded when
I
you were
did.
there.
Yeah. I was wondering, I wanted you to tell me because I had like some drama happen when I was there. Like I got my wallet stolen and then I also got really sick and I ended up in the hospital for a couple days. So that makes sense.
Oh no.
Yeah. I was like waiting. I was like, watch her say I had bad energy there because I felt like I did.
Yeah,
Everything
because
was fine. It was
yeah.
nothing serious, but like I had like a kidney infection and I got sick there. So yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
it's with
that's
the ascendant, so it's all about like the self. So a lot of ungroundedness with yourself, but also spirit, like tapping into spirituality. So
yeah.
yeah, you had those two lines next to each other. And then were you ever in like the Valencia area, like a little bit further out? You had
Yes, I visited there.
you have Mars energy there related to like future and career. It's a lot of like fiery, like passionate energy.
Yeah.
So that's probably something that you were tapping into, and also that you've probably brought back with you, right? Like
Right.
whenever you think about these memories. So
Yeah.
yeah. So any other interesting places that you explored? And was that for college? What was Spain for?
Yeah, I was there. I was there during college. I went to Switzerland and Amsterdam. Like when I was done studying abroad, I like traveled there. So it was beautiful. I definitely want to go back there. And Amsterdam, I only spent like a couple days there, but like same thing. I felt like I loved how it was like so small there and you could just like walk around everywhere there in like one day. Like I like those like cities like that. Like Barcelona was so hard to navigate. Like I would always be lost all the time on the subways and not subway, but whatever they're called there,
Yeah,
the
the
the trains
metro,
and
or
the
yeah.
metros.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so it was like I loved like being in going from that to city like Amsterdam. Like this is everyone's like friendly in Amsterdam, and like if you're like lost reading a map, like everyone will come talk to you. Like in Barcelona, like no one will help
Oh no.
you.
This is what I have to look up look forward
No,
to.
you'll be fine.
But yeah, in Amsterdam you had moon energy, so like you felt like quite at home there.
Yeah, I did. I really
Mhm.
did. And it's so funny. I'm like I travel to all these places where I have moon energy.
That's
I feel like I
true.
like
Yeah,
subconsciously pick a lot of
Arizona,
places that
right?
hmm
Yeah, because if you feel ungrounded where you are, especially if you have that Pisces energy, right? The Neptune energy, you're all in your
Yeah,
head. You need that grounding energy. So it's you're almost intuitively seeking that the
right.
grounding energy. In Switzerland, you had sun energy. So a lot of like
Yeah.
illumination, like being seen and just feeling like that sun energy within yourself. What
I remember having a
experience?
lot of energy there.
Yeah.
I wanted to like always do stuff. I had a lot of energy. Like I felt like more energy than I had in Barcelona for sure.
Did you feel like you were being sought out, like because you're being illuminated, like you're making a lot of friends?
Yes, yeah, definitely. No, I
Yeah.
definitely felt that energy there too as well.
Amazing, amazing. So for now, it seems like you're just kind of laying low, right? You're just
Yes, taking a
relaxing,
break.
taking a break,
Yeah,
because you did travel a little bit, a lot more than I did these past few months. But yeah, thank you so much for being on today.
of
You
course.
can definitely reach out to Michelle at her Instagram, aligned with Michelle, right?
Yeah.
All right, keep following her journey, and definitely, just become friends with her and follow her. So yeah, so thank you for being on. And remember, lineage goes beyond your ancestors. You are meant to connect to the cosmos so you may finally find your cosmic family. Until next time. Thank you for listening to Cosmic Roadmap. If you're curious about astrogeography and where you're meant to be on the planet, go to cosmicroadmap.com to download your free passport to purpose. You can also book a session with me where we can explore your own cosmic roadmap and chart your next destination in business, love, and life.